Okay, notice I'm setting my timer because I'm American. You always have to worry about talking too much. All right, so yes, the name of my talk is definitely The Magic of Sensors, or My Strange Life, hashtag Thomas Made Me Do It. Yeah, that's Trophopop Thomas we're talking about. So I was prepared just to talk about parts and sensors and why I'm loving them so much, but he was like, can you really make this personal? So I'm going to get so personal that maybe you'll either want to be my best friend in Berlin or you'll just never want to see me again, so. Okay, so I wanted to start off with sort of like my past history. So starting with the little girl down below, that's actually me when I was a kid. Yeah, and you know, I didn't grow up on a farm, but I was in a rather rural area in Maryland in the US, which is a very small state, and there was a river behind like my grandmother's house and things like that. But I actually believe I have a real memory of touching this sheep and how soft it was, and it was really incredible. And it's important for me to talk about that feeling of sense because that can really, your early memories of sense, I think, really stay with you and influence what you do. As I got older, you really can't tell what this picture is. It looks really dark in here, but it's a picture of a blue ribbon from a group called 4-H, which was a community sewing group. I was taking sewing lessons, and I have really good memories of working with fabrics and what it felt like to finish an outfit and get to wear it and model it and compete with it. Competing was less my thing, but I definitely liked the making and the feel of fabrics and the different qualities of fabrics. Then we skip big time now and we jump up to college. Yes, I was an English theater major. I did start out in computer science and I did not fare well. Not only did I not fare well, but I just didn't feel like I fit in right. I mean, I am kind of silly and zany and I wasn't sure it really worked. And back then, I should say, computer science, at least in our country, was taught in such a bad way and was so boring. We were talking about algorithms and pi, and it couldn't have been any more boring than that. So that's how it all started. I see you laughing back there. You know this problem in the US, right? Yeah. Anyway, so years later, I had all these different careers. I started in educational theater. I did do my theater stuff. I also worked at like a zoo doing educational theater where I would dress up in these costumes like animals in the rainforest and teach kids about why the ecosystem was important, which was great fun. Then I started to get more boring because in order to do the acting work, I had to take these boring jobs like retail management where I'd manage these crazy stores and, you know, kind of become a robot, and it got worse and worse, and I had to like do more corporate jobs to earn money to do this work, and it just, I don't know, I just started getting sort of conservative. But I guess I sort of discovered film work through my theater work and suddenly said, oh, I need to change my career entirely. So many years later, I worked my way up to public television and became like a producer director type for public television and spent a good number of years doing that. Later, met my husband that I fell in love with. We were noticing public television was failing. He's also in film and video and stuff, and we made a good duo, so we started our own company doing videos for nonprofits. We're still doing that today because I'm balancing many jobs still. But anyway, so that sort of explains where we were then. This is probably, I'm guessing maybe 2001, 2002. I could be wrong, but what happened, and this is a very dramatic moment, I discovered Wired Next Fest in New York. Do you all know Wired magazine? Have you heard of this? Oh yeah, go geeks. So I still get this magazine. I love it. It's one of the only magazines I still get a print of. So this was my first exposure to firsthand touching robots, and I mean really expensive, swanky robots from Japan. If you've heard of Asimo, I don't know if you know Honda Asimo. This was one of the first robots back then. Very short little guy, really adorable, and he'd be like moving like this across the stage real slow. I actually played hooky from work just to see this robot. That's how bad I was. And then I also got introduced to tech art. And I can only tell you, there was like, when you first walked into Wired Next Fest, I won't even forget this, there was a rain scrim. So this is like a wall of rain that they're projecting images onto. And back then, that was a big deal for me because working in video even, I had never seen this before. And I suddenly was like, oh, that's cool. And then I came across artwork where people had used programming and they were making these touchable like glass spheres that you could touch and make music with. Kind of reminds me of the harp stuff. I'm sure you would have loved this, yeah. So I fell in love with that. I was like, oh my God. And actually my husband wasn't with me that day. Maybe you were on a job, but when I came back home, I remember saying that, oh my God, I have to learn how to do this. If I don't learn how to do this, I'll be incredibly sad because it was like tying together everything I liked. It was sort of like theater and performance combining with electronics and technology, and people were going crazy. It was just connecting people together in ways that people had sort of forgotten. It's like even the theater world, when I talk about television, one of the reasons I went to television is I could see theater sort of dying, and I believe Berlin has probably more stuff going on with performance even than Philadelphia. But I just believe it's dying because technology is taking over, and that's okay. The world's always changing. But for me, I saw this as the next frontier, and that I had to do that. So that's sort of the quick past history. But sense memory, something else I want to bring up, and the reason I titled it this is when I was in theater, one of the first exercises I learned was, this is crazy, my theater teacher's like, I want you to come in class and bring an orange. I'm like, why are we bringing a piece of fruit to do theater with? So she had us all blindfold ourselves, and we had a partner, and we had to slowly smell the orange, peel the orange, and feel what that felt like. We used all of our senses except for sight. And I can tell you, when you knock off your vision and you experience an orange in this way, you'll never forget that experience. It's very powerful. And so I remember that that was a strong part of it. And my theater teacher was very big on sense memory. It's actually a term, if you study theater, that you learn to sort of keep in your head various sense memories that you had when you were younger, because you can bring them back in a character. But she would talk about the physical brings about the emotional. That's what she said. And that's important because it's not, when you see an actor, if they're really well trained, they're not just remembering something and sort of pretending. What happens if I'm sad, most people aren't like me, like right now I'm exuberant, right? Like I'm here with you, I'm having fun, and I'm walking like very nice. But normally when people are sad, you can kind of tell they're kind of a little hunched over. Maybe they've got this going on. So a good actor uses the physicality first to help bring about the emotions, because you can't just go be sad, right? So you start with that, and it becomes sad, and you slowly start to feel what that physicality is. So keep that in mind, hint, hint, for the magic of sensors. Okay, so so you know, after the Wired Next Fest, I call this going tech crazy. So what happened was, basically, I discovered this group called the Hacktory. There was a bunch of guys starting a makerspace, and they were advertising like, let's learn LED throwies. So how many of you know what an LED throwie is? Those, yeah. So this is like an LED, and you just tape it to like a magnet, and you have a battery with it, and you can throw it, and it will stick on metal things. Great fun, great fun. Kind of wasteful, but you know, you have to try it. So that was like one of the first things that we did. That's actually a picture of me in the pink there. Duh, I really like pink. And we actually did a class doing soft circuit flowers, and that was one of the first things that I taught once I learned that I liked LED throwies. So my first thing was like working with LEDs and conductive thread to make a simple circuit. And then I found out that at the Hacktory, they did Arduino classes. I'm like, Arduino, what? What are you talking about? You know, is this like a language thing? And I didn't realize it was actually hardware. So I took the class. I was one of like 2 girls in a class of like 20, and the rest, of course, were all men. So I was kind of the weird one out there. And I actually had a good time, and the guys were really nice to me, and they really spent time with me and really mentored me to learn how to use this. And the first time around, it was kind of hard because the programming I had, which by the way was so long ago, I was basic in Fortran from when I took a couple classes in college, and everything had really changed a lot, so I'm like, okay, I don't know about this, but I started to understand it. And the one thing, if you know anything about me, is I never give up. No matter how bad it gets, I will just persist and get through it, and that's what happened. I basically started learning Arduino. So we jump a little more up to date here. So I ended up joining a hackerspace as well called Hive 76 in Philadelphia. Some of the same people that started the Hacktory, which was like an educational facility, broke away, and they wanted to start a place where people could come as members, have their own workspace, much like this place, really. I mean, it was a little more than co-working. It had like hardcore things like 3D printers, and they don't have a laser cutter, but they had a lot of woodworking and metalworking tools. And I think we have an engineer of every single variety, and then you've got people that are more like from an artist background like me, but it's everybody coming together to help each other to build really cool things. So that's where I ended up, and I'm still a member there. And sometimes I still give classes at the Hacktory as well, so I'm kind of between both of those spaces. So this started a huge momentum with me. And then I went to my first hackathon, which was called Lady Hacks in Philadelphia. I'm like, this is cool. Like, it's an all-female hackathon. This is a great way to encourage people. I had also been to a feminist camp called Ada Camp. It's a camp just for geeks that happens around the world, and they were holding it in the US at that time, which, by the way, they are currently meeting right now at the same time in Berlin, and they're tweeting about me there, which is crazy. So I told them I'm actually here and talking to you about this stuff. But so that sort of got me the confidence to go, okay, hackathons aren't so bad. Again, in the US, very male populated. So doing a female one was a good start. But they happened to mention that NASA, which is our space system, was going to have their own hackathon that was an international one. I'm like, I bet you no girls are going to do that one. So I'm like, yeah, I got to do that one, right? So I entered in Philadelphia, and I ended up with third place, which was truly shocking. Met this girl over the internet, and she partnered in Florida with me to help with some coding issues I was having. And we created, which the tiny blue dot you can see because this picture is too dark, is called the ISS Orbit Skirt. It's the International Space Station. And what this skirt would do is show a blue dot around the planet Earth as like the LED would go around. Actually, they were all white except for the one on planet Earth. So it would show time-wise what it would take to do an orbit of the International Space Station around Earth. So anyway, that was cool, right? I had a good time. And that has led to another NASA Space Apps for this year, which my team, okay, so Philly and New York had a little war going on, and New York's like, oh no, we're gonna get to do the world's space station location because you got to do it last year in Philly. So I'm like, screw that, no, that's not fair. Like, I love this stuff, you can't take that away. So I organized a group online. I just, there were people that I had blogged about their work, and I just wrote to them, I'm like, hey, would you be willing to do this thing with me? And they said yes. I was totally shocked. So I formed this team that was like 80% women, 20% men, and we went into New York. This year we won first place at New York, and we ended up entering into the world one. We invented a scent bracelet. It's called Sentiate, and that bracelet would inject a smell through vaporizing into an astronaut's nose. Now that sounds really stupid, like why air fresheners or why are we doing this, right? But in space, your sense of smell actually is greatly reduced. Your sense of smell is very important because sense of smell has to do with danger. If there's a fire in your house, probably your nose is going to tell you first if the fire system doesn't work. It also enhances the taste of food. Like, where would we be without this? I mean, personally, I love food, and that would be like devastating to me. So anyway, so we had a good time with this. We got a lot of recognition. I think we ended up 6th in the world. For best hardware, best use of hardware. So we really did a great job with it, and it was an awesome experience collaborating with so many people in a project. But so that's what happened with that. As you can see, my life did get very crazy. Okay, so then there's another aspect. Right before this second whole Space Apps thing happened, meeting Leah Beakley. How many people here know who Leah Beakley is? Have you ever heard? Oh, geeks, somebody say what she did. What did she do? Anybody, shout it out. Yes, Lily Pad Arduino. So Lily Pad Arduino is the first stitchable Arduino. You can see she is a great upbeat person. And actually the next speaker that we'll have, Kate. Kate to me is like a sister to her, so you're really going to enjoy her. So anyway, I got to learn how to use LilyPad with her in a workshop that I won a travel grant to go to, which was incredible. I was exposed to so many different materials, and it was amazing to me that things in nature could conduct electricity. So your body could become a method of touching something in nature and creating a switch. That was extraordinary, and that has really also impacted me. I'm actually starting to work with kids now and using those techniques. The thermochromatic paint that you were shown previously in slides, we got to work with that. fabric. We worked with almost anything. We would just walk outside with multi-testers and just start testing everything. So it was a really amazing experience. And just recently I got to interview her for her entire rundown of how LilyPad Arduino was invented, was seeing the very original pictures. So if you Google that, I think it's on Make Zine that I blogged about it, but it was really great to see the whole history on just unfurl with that. So this was the project that I actually did in Leah's class. So I had a dream once that wouldn't it be cool to make a spider's web to make music, because a web already looks like an instrument. So that's what I did. Let's see if I can hit my play on here. It's kind of hard to hear this, but so anyway, you can tell this is like a very simple project because it's only using like the little 8-bit sort of sounds on the Arduino, but you can hook this up with, say, processing or something else, and you can actually create much more interesting music with it. So it's like a neat way to go, but it's using capacitive sense. So the vertical strings you see are the conductive ones, and then the circular ones are the ones that aren't doing anything. So, and I'd like to still expand on that and make a super large one to have fun with in a park someday, So you can see this is pretty much where I am now. So what happened was, next there was a contest. This contest was from Adafruit, which is a DIY parts company, and also Element 14. Element 14 is another huge company that basically is a parts supplier around the world. And they had a contest where they would give you this box of parts. You had to sort of tell them what kind of design, sort of pitch them an idea for what you would like to make. And they would give you the parts, and then you had to blog about what your project was and take it to completion, and then some person was going to win. So I came up with this idea to make a Floraella. Flora is the name of the microcontroller. It's very similar to LilyPad, and actually both Leah Beakley and Lamore Freed, who are from Adafruit, they both come from MIT. So very similar background there. But the Floraella, the idea was that the umbrella would change different colors. So can I have somebody come up here so I can have you be a model for me for the umbrella? You just kind of have to stand there. Actually, actually, can I borrow you because you have a bright shirt? Yeah, is it okay? Do you mind? Great, come. All right, let's get this. Okay. Yeah, now it's like not to get this close to you. I have to put it right against your shirt. I think your cuff there. Yeah, right there. It's not showing dark enough. It might not like that it's too dark in here to show the color. Or maybe, is it too bright? I need a lighting expert to tell me which way to go with this or more daylight. Try it back. This is the hard part because in dealing with color, it's very affected by the light in the light room. There we go. Okay, so if you don't mind holding this now, it's a little on the other side. There's a button under here, so go ahead and press it. And keep it pressed there. So what's crazy about this umbrella, so of course I had this idea of using I had this idea of using the color sensor because that was part of the box, but the cool part is it can do 3 patterns too. So the first mode is color sensing. What she has, and I should mention, this handle was 3D printed because my biggest problem was I like to kind of hide the electronics as much as possible. So I wanted to bring the wires down and sort of things sort of hidden in here because I wanted to have the switch at the bottom. And the switch, can you tilt this a little so they can see the button at the bottom a little? Yeah, it's kind of heavy. But I fell in love with an LED button. Is that crazy? I had to use that one. But anyway, so this is the third pattern, and this is the rain pattern. So it was a lot of fun, and it got a lot of attention. Needless to say, this won the contest. People went gaga over it. It still gets a lot of attention now. It's been blogged about a lot. It was in New York for a fashion show with a really amazing model. It's actually been to Canada, who is having a startup group just like this, so I feel really cool that it's now here. I'm thinking about taking this outside near the Berlin Wall and taking a short video clip to show now this is where the umbrella is. So that's it. Thanks so much. And I should point out, the reason I put the hardware at the top like that is I kind of didn't want it to be noticeable, yet I couldn't make the handle so big to handle all of this work. So I tried to do the illusion, and this is sort of where magic comes in, of having it be sort of horizontal. So most people would have mounted it maybe like here, but I thought by having it more horizontal in a hammock that it would be less noticeable. So that's where that came from. Okay, and I need another model. This time you can't be shy about hats. Anybody, somebody, just come up here so I can put a hat on you. Oh, and it's not a girly hat, so you won't feel weird, whoever it is, or, you know. Or where's my buddy, right? Thomas, you know we can have this discussion.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, hold this mic while you do this. Yeah.
Can you recharge the umbrella with lightning?
Yeah, that would be cool, right?
Yeah, totally.
Totally about like Faraday or I don't know, whatever. Okay, hang on. Okay, so let's see. It might get kind of dark. Yeah, it's already going off. This is like hilarious. Oh, your hair is cute. It's high.
Thank you.
So it's funny. It's so dark in this room, but oh, hold the mic up here so they
Up
can
here.
hear better. Do you know this movie? Yes.
Yes. 5 points.
Yeah, so that's more geek points for all of you out there. So I'm highly influenced by movies. I should mention that the umbrella was inspired by Blade Runner. If you remember, there was a light-up umbrella in there. So that's where that came from. And obviously, this is Close Encounters, another favorite movie. And I remember making 3 different sketches for Becky Stern at Adafruit. And I'm like, this last one, I don't know if you're going to like it. It's kind of weird. It's really geeky. And when she saw it, she instantly was like, no, that's the one. I'm like, really? She's like, you don't understand. People love stuff that have to deal with like concrete movies and like geek stuff like that. So that's it. Thank you, Hat.
Is it going to call a spaceship now?
Actually, it may. We should take this to the sea base. Oh, no, I'm going to show that. We're talking about magic sensors. This is a light sensor, but I'll show you in a second. I will reveal the magic, but yeah, it's in the side. Thank you so much. It's really funny because if you take this to a movie theater, it'll drive people crazy. Okay, I have one more thing, and this time you have to be, I'm not that skinny, so you should be at least like my waist size or thinner, and I really need you bad. Oh, cool. I hope you're like really open-minded. I hope this doesn't keep... Hang on a second. Woohoo! This is my dream. I have to tell you. So when I was in Canada with the umbrella, there. Oh no, that'll be the back. But you can spin it once you get it. Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, that's okay. And actually, it's good we stand on this side with the gray panel behind you. So, so when I was in Canada, just not used to this. Oh, we got to watch all these, too. He's carrying so much metal, he's going to set off a metal detector. In Canada, I asked for an alternative model because I'm really against using anorexic white women. So they gave me a cross-dresser that was amazing. He had fishnets. He was like, I don't know, wearing all these pieces that were really funny and a crazy hat, and he loved wearing or walking with my umbrella. How's it coming? A little higher. Yeah, this, we like you wear it up higher, where it's gentle, where your waist comes narrower. Yeah, okay, so, yeah, you're pretty thin. This is good. Okay, so now, let me move your shoes because now we get active, right? Okay, so now I want you to spin clockwise, really suddenly, very suddenly. Oh, hey, I guess maybe we need to turn this on, huh? I was just like giving you your cardio exercise today. Okay, so hang on. Spin really hard. Oh, you got to do it very suddenly. Oh, your thing's falling down. Really, really sudden. Still not sudden enough. Yeah, it has to be really sudden. Yeah, just keep spinning once you go. Keep spinning. Then try the other way. It shouldn't be, no, because I spin right. Maybe I have to put this on. I don't know. This is funny. It's like, okay, try again. Yeah. There you go. Okay, so this thing is actually inspired by how many people know what the Hunger Games movie is? Hunger Games, yeah. So it's about this really strong woman, and she kind of has to go into battle. It's really a weird premise. It's like this government is against the people, but they have a lottery like once a year, and people have to sort of go fight to the finish. And the government wants to paint this girl as being this amazing person, so they put her in this wedding dress, and symbolically, they like to make her catch on fire. So she spins in this wedding dress looking thing, and it has these gorgeous wings, and it looks like flames underneath. So my idea was like, whoa, when I saw that movie, I'm like, we can use a sensor and really make it that when you spin, it makes flames. So you're seeing the underskirt, which looks incredibly ugly like this, but when you put it under the wedding dress, as you can see in this picture, it actually looks really cool. And I wore this outfit I was nominated for Geek of the Year in Philadelphia. Don't get excited, I didn't win as the top geek, okay, but I was like one of the 3 people nominated, but I definitely had the #1 outfit there, and people were going crazy. So thanks so much for being my model, and it's great that you were the one chosen. Woo! Thank you. I should mention all these things are using Lipo batteries, so they're rechargeable too, so. Yeah, you put in your work for that one, right? You should have seen me when the battery started to die. The reason you know the battery's dying is you're spinning like crazy and nothing's happening, and like people are like, why aren't you lighting up? I'm like, sorry. Yeah, and the husband goes underneath the dress to replace the battery for you. Yeah, it's pretty classy. Yeah, you have to kind of look for like a special place to do that. So magic, busted. Okay, so this is where we show off what's being used and everything. So let's start over here. Boy, this is hard to see. Deek, deek, deek. So it's hard to see. So that's the Flora microcontroller, and this tiny little thing over here is actually the color sensor. And that particular sensor, I use conductive thread. You wouldn't have to. Usually wire is a little more heavy duty to use, but I was trying to keep the umbrella sort of invisible, so I used conductive thread for it. But anyway, that's how that one worked. Let's see, the next guy. Okay, the next guy, which I think you can see this well enough here, that inside the grommet of the hat on the side where I would hold my hand over, that was actually a light sensor. So when you give it darkness, that's when it triggers this circuit to happen. So that's a real easy one to use, and it's not really digital. It's just a little gizmo that you just solder in, and it works. So it's really great. And then the last one here was, golly, which is this? Yes, this is the gyro sensor from the skirt. This took a while for me to figure out because it was sort of like, how do you do a sensor that will only get spinning? Basically, it's just seeing what the readouts are and figuring out what numbers work best for how to make the spinning happen. But it was very successful, and I'm actually very intrigued by that sensor, and it was rather inexpensive to use. So again, it was like a Flora, but you can go lily pad or do whatever you want with that. So that was the magic of sensors. We're about to do this, but before we do this, I need 3 teams of 2 people each. And it should be people that like designing or drawing or problem solving. I have a little game. Oh, come, don't be shy, Berlin. This is a chance to connect with me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, 6 people, though. I need 6 people. Okay, we got 4 brave souls. 2 more, 2 more. Come on, get up here. You know you want to do this. You know it. Oh, there got to be 1 more. Come on, 1 more. How about a women? We need women here. Come on, this is your, yeah. Just step up. Cool. Okay, so come up on stage here. So my little game is called sensor clothing, right? So what happens is I have a bowl of cards that name a specific sensor, and I have a bowl of cards that will name a specific piece of clothing. And what you're going to do is combine the 2 ideas, and you're going to go over, there's three different tablets. Each of you will, together in your group of 2, however you're going to pair up, you'll draw your design, and in the meantime, I'll have a very quick chat with the audience while you're doing that, and then you will bring back your designs to show off. So, yay! So let's start with your cards. Yeah, you don't have that long. Maybe 2-minute, 3-minute conversation. So one of these, and you want to pick the other one for the other class. I'm so excited to see what happens. You're so excited too, right? to it, guys. Go over there. There's 3 markers on the one thing. You can all just go ahead. Oh, yeah, and you have to whisper quietly over there while you're doing it. And you can't give away to the audience what you're working on. It's part of the magic. Okay, so my big question with you all, which we can just have this conversation now, is like, why sensors? Or why sensors now? Or why sensors anyway? Why should we be working with sensors? Just, you can shout it out. It can be a short answer. You just shout out.
Because we have 5 senses.
Okay, yeah, because we have 5 senses, sure. You're right, and human beings have the capability of synthesizing them together, yeah. How about any other reasons why sensors, yeah?
Technically, it's, I guess, easier or requires less power to develop sensors for many different things than actuators.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. That's almost coming from the engineering end of that. It's almost a better way, it's almost sustainable maybe, to do it through sensors rather than actuators. Any other reasons why we should do sensors? What? Okay, because we have fingers and it's another sensing. Anybody else? Because what?
Because they're fun.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you know I'd be coming from that reason, right? So, anybody else on why sensors? Hey, where's my design group over there? You're being too noisy. Hey, stop having so much fun over there. Sorry, so what was that last reason? Augment senses we don't have, and that's a very interesting reason too. So I kind of wanted to go into, so can anybody tell what I'm doing in this picture? Yeah, that's really me. What does it look like I'm doing? Yeah, I am looking at a wall because I'm actually meditating. This is something that's been coming hand in hand with me. I've been doing meditation, which is interesting. It's happening now in my life because I'm starting to feel like I'm getting overloaded. Even though you're seeing me really be peppy today, I'm really an introvert. So if I were to talk in front of audiences all day long, I'd probably get really fatigued and I'd have to go like quietly into a quiet room and just sit there for a while to regenerate. So I'm finding that what's happening is that there's been, at least in the US, a big influx. Hey, design company over there. Akakaka. So there's been this problem that I'm seeing more people getting into yoga and meditation, and they're talking mindfulness. We never heard about mindfulness in the US. Like, that's like an unheard of word, and now it's become commonplace. And we're finding apps for phones that have to do with this. I actually have a Zen app timer on my phone that I use. My Twitter handle is @ZenGirl2. I mean, it's just sort of becoming part of like the fabric of our lives. And I feel like the reason why we have to use sensors now, partially, I mean, there's many good ones out there, but I feel like we're losing our ability to be in touch with our own senses. Last year, I attended a particular talk where in New York, there's a woman who invented this app, and it actually tells you when your back is straight. Now, I've had a lot of dance classes, and it took me a while to learn when my back was straight and when it was curved, but it's very interesting that as human beings, we can't be connected with our bodies anymore. I find that we're very, like this with everything. We're bending over desks with our computers. I mean, how many people here have neck pain or back pain at the end of the day from doing that? Eyesight, I can tell you my eyesight's gotten worse from use of computers. So it's very interesting that we as humans are losing our ability to really use our senses well. That's just my theory, and I'm sure other people have other ones, but. So this leads me to the end, which I will bring up in 1 second. Let's bring up our design crew. Okay, design crew, time's up. Oh, now they don't want to listen. See, it's like, this is what I mean about losing senses. See how they're losing the audio now. Okay, hacking teams, design teams, it's time to riff off your papers and bring them up to show off your work. Yeah, bring them up. Okay, yeah, you're first out since you're first up. Good for you. I will give you the mic and go ahead and explain what you designed. Hold it up really high, too. Okay. Yeah.
Good. So, hi. Let me tell you a little story. So, like everybody knows how it is when you want to go for a little ride with your horse in a nice, autumn afternoon, and so like our two components are head and accelerometer. So this is all about movement, right? And we really like hats, but like also as those like little fascinators kind of stuff. And we thought, okay, if you, especially like in those like big like fashion kind of scene for riding horses, you have like those huge feathers.
Like an ostrich feather, like very airy ostrich feather that takes every movement. And as the horse is galloping,
So and then you're galloping, and then you jump over that, and so like, and then you have like your little feather made with glass fiber cables, and through that movement, then it starts to sparkle.
Does this have a name? Does your product have a name yet? Please name it.
speed ostrich.
Yeah, and of course the horse has a fascinator too. Like that's bigger. Yeah, yeah, her tail. Yeah.
This is really funny because right now, Adafruit and Element 14 are having yet another contest, and one of my friends in Philadelphia entered. She is a big designer for dogs. She uses Arduino to design wearables for dogs. She's making a matching doggy and person rain hat that will like light up, and it may even have a compass feature. She's getting help from someone at my makerspace, so perhaps she will do that. So, very nice job. Okay, let's have the next one up. And you two in the back get extra time, you lucky dogs.
We had a little problem with.
Here you go, use your mic.
So,
Yeah,
hi.
come be centered, yeah.
Whoa.
Be in the light, yeah, hold up high.
Hi. Okay. Okay. We had a little problem with our pens. So the main my word, I'm Daniel, was pants, and John's word.
So touch. So we had to do something with touch and pants. So this is the only appropriate thing we can come up with.
You know, I feel embarrassed that my name is also projected on this. I'm not sure this is good.
Should I go on? Oh, okay. So touch. So it's a little bit like the same yesterday performance where she was touching the whole body when she makes music and the stuff. And we thought because I was eating a Weißwurst before, and you need at Oktoberfest because they don't get you when you want to order something, and you get a lederhose when big tents, and if you want to have a beer, you just touch, for example, there. Or you want to yodeling, because most of the tourists don't know how to yodeling, and so just put some other buttons and you go to yodeling. Or if you want to make a kind of clap dance, like a... Right, then you have to hold now. You know this kind of? I don't know the words. So that's a strange traditional Bavarian dance with the lederhose. You can also do some music with it. And if you want to play some Schlager, put on the lederhose and touch it.
Do you have a name for your product?
We have too less time. It's still.
Oh, okay. I let you go then. Yeah, that's fine. Very well done. Very well done. I love it. So last night on the way back to the hotel, I remembered that people said at Alexanderplatz, I hope I'm saying this right, that there was the Oktoberfest, and we were watching the security guards trying to get the people out, and I saw people with LED outfits on. I thought maybe they were from here, but they weren't. They were just for the Oktoberfest. So I think there may be a market for your product there. I think they're going to like that. So, okay, next team up. Or last team. Okay.
We've got something which is like more mundane than the other projects. It's called the Scalfolor, because our cards to guess was color and a scarf.
Again, scarf. And we had the idea that it censors the pattern of your color you're wearing. And so the scarf got a fiber, a fabric, which changes like the color in stripes for the scarf, or like makes it dotty, or like not just the color, so it's like a little bit more advanced.
So somehow you've got a polka dot shirt today. I want to fit the scarf for today. You scan your polka dot shirt and get a nice scarf with a pattern of a polka dot. Or you can go totally astray and have a scanned striped, I don't know, t-shirt with your polka dot shirt.
What's the name of your product?
Scalfolor.
Scarfolor. And does it translate, or you just, it's a funny name?
No, it's a scarf and color.
Oh, that is the word for color.
Somehow it matched.
Cool. Very cool.
Oh, there you go.
I think maybe Katerina should be talking with them because maybe there's a way to design this. That's all I have except for my end of my thing is that the more I thought about the senses, I think it's very important that you go back to those original senses. Do tests with oranges. Whatever it is you want to do a sensor of, test your own abilities first and what is lacking, because when you work with people with disabilities, for instance, if you can't think like them and experience things physically like them, you won't be able to design for them especially. So it's really important to go back to those original senses. And that's why I put hashtag wear it you. Hashtag is wear it you, is you come with your senses already. You have sensors and use them. The second one, wear it Berlin, of course, because now use these sensors and your own senses to bring yourselves together. Right now, Berlin is at a time period when you are coming together, and this particular conference is very important to that. The last one is wear it world. It's good to be connected as Berlin. You have to connect to the rest of the world, and I'm very thankful that Thomas thought to invite people outside of Germany even to come here to help connect, because we can all help you connect with whatever you do. So that's basically it. I'm at ZenGirl2 on Twitter if you want to follow me. If you make anything wearable at all, you should absolutely write to me, and I will blog about you and make you famous on Adafruit's site. It does not even have to use Adafruit parts. It can use lily pad parts. It can do anything. We don't discriminate. So Leslie at adafruit.com. Please do send me your work because I really want to make you famous. Thank you so much, and I love Berlin, and I love all of you. Thanks.